Welcome to Bedtime Tales. Settle in, get comfortable, and let the gentle rain carry you into tonight's quiet place. Warm rain drifts over the orchard, darkening the narrow path between the trees and gathering in clear beads along every leaf. At the far end of the path, a small tea house rests beneath a broad, tiled roof, its windows glowing with the quiet color of honey. The rain touches the roof in a soft and even rhythm, and the branches nearby bend only a little beneath their silver weight. The door opens easily beneath a sheltered porch. Inside, the air is warm and carries the mild scent of baked pear, clean wood, and tea leaves kept in round clay jars. A woven mat waits beside the door, and a smooth wooden peg holds a dry robe with deep, comfortable sleeves. The rain stays outside, close enough to hear, while the room gathers around you with warmth. Shoes rest neatly on the mat. A damp coat hangs from a low rail where the warmth can reach it, and small drops slide from the hem into a shallow stone tray. The robe settles across your shoulders with a soft weight. Its cloth has been warmed by the room, and the sleeves fall around your hands like two quiet folds of evening. A broad window looks into the orchard. Pear trees stand in calm rows, their leaves shining beneath the rain, and pale fruit hangs among them with the stillness of small shaded lamps. Beyond the nearest branches, the path fades into a gentle gray. Nothing needs to come along it tonight. The gate is closed, the latch is resting, and the whole orchard is tucked inside the sound of water. Near the center of the room, a low clay stove gives out a steady warmth. Its small fire is hidden behind a simple iron door, though a soft orange glow shows through the narrow opening below. A kettle rests on top, round and dark, with a wooden handle lying to one side. It is already warm, and from time to time it gives a low, peaceful murmur. The tea house has only one main room, and every part of it is easy to see. There is a long shelf of cups, a low table beside the window, a narrow bench with linen cushions, and a small counter made from pale wood. A folded blanket rests at one end of the bench. A basket of dry kindling sits beside the stove, full enough for the night. The rain moves over the roof. It passes from one row of tiles to the next, soft above the porch, fuller above the window, and light again over the little covered step at the back. Each part of the roof has its own quiet note. Together they make one smooth sound, close and kind, like hands brushing gently over a wide piece of cloth. A lamp stands on the low table. Its shade is made of cream paper stretched across thin wooden ribs, and the light inside is small and steady. It reaches the teapot, the folded napkin, and the rounded edge of the table. Farther away, it softens into amber shade, leaving the corners calm without making them dark. The wooden floor holds the warmth of the stove. It is smooth beneath your feet, with pale marks where many seasons of careful sweeping have followed the grain. A few woven mats lie where the boards might feel cool in winter, though tonight the air is mild. Warm rain has washed the heat from the orchard and carried it gently to the windows. On the counter, a shallow bowl holds 3 ripe pears from the nearest trees. Their skins are green and gold, freckled with brown, and one still carries a clean leaf at the stem. Beside them rests a little covered dish of oat cakes. Everything has already been brought in. Nothing remains outside that needs care before morning. The kettle gives another low murmur. A little thread of steam rises from the lid, catches the lamplight and fades above the stove. The sound is almost hidden by rain on the roof. It comes again after a while, familiar now, a warm note within the cooler sound beyond the glass. A clay jar on the shelf holds soft green tea leaves. Another holds dried pear peel with a faint sweet scent, and a third contains small pieces of ginger, pale and smooth. The lids fit snugly. A wooden scoop lies across a clean saucer, ready for the quiet work of making one cup. The cup chosen from the shelf is wide and simple, glazed in the color of warm sand. Its sides are not perfectly even, and the slight curve fits naturally between both hands. The clay keeps a trace of the room's heat. When it is placed on the table, it makes a small, rounded sound against the wood. Tea leaves slip into the pot. A little dried pear follows, enough to lend sweetness to the steam without changing the calm green scent. The kettle lifts easily from the stove. Warm water circles into the teapot, and a pale cloud rises as the lid is set in place. For a while, the tea rests. The rain fills the waiting with its steady touch on tile and leaf. A branch near the window releases a gathered line of drops, and they fall to the soft earth below with a muted patter. The lamp shines across the teapot lid, and the kettle returns to its warm place on the stove. The bench beside the window is deep enough to sit with your feet drawn comfortably near. One linen cushion supports the back, and another rests beneath an elbow. The cloth is cool at first, then slowly takes on warmth. The folded blanket is light, woven from undyed wool, and it lies across your knees without any heaviness. Outside, the nearest pear tree fills most of the window. Its trunk is dark with rain, and its branches spread in easy curves beneath the roofline. Drops gather at the tips of the leaves, growing round and bright before falling into the grass. New drops take their place. The tree stands quietly and receives them all. The tea pours in a thin amber-green stream. It carries the scent of leaves warmed by water and the soft sweetness of pear. Steam passes over your hands, touching the fingers before drifting toward the window. The cup grows warm between your palms, and the warmth moves slowly through the robe sleeves. The first sip is mild. It tastes of clean leaves, ripe fruit, and the faint mineral note of the clay pot. The cup may cool by small degrees while rain continues over the orchard, while the lamp remains steady, and while the stove keeps its hidden orange glow. A narrow shelf beneath the window holds several smooth stones from the river beyond the orchard. They are gray, cream, and soft brown, each one shaped by water until it fits easily in the hand. One has a pale line running through its center. Another is almost round. They rest together in a shallow wooden tray, dry and warm. The river cannot be seen from the tea house, though its presence belongs to the place. On quiet afternoons, its low movement reaches the orchard between the calls of birds. Tonight the rain covers that distant sound. The stones on the shelf hold enough of it, their surfaces smooth with the memory of gentle water. A small cloth lies beside the tray. It is used to polish the window ledge after rain has left a fine mist near the glass. The ledge is dry now. The roof reaches far beyond it, and the window is closed snugly in its frame. The orchard may drink all night while the room remains warm. The cup rests on its woven mat. Heat rises through the bottom and leaves a faint circle in the fibers, which slowly fades when the cup is lifted again. The tea is softer now. The pear scent has opened, mild and round, blending with the clean smell of damp bark that slips through the edges of the old wooden frame. Rain moves over the roof. The familiar sound returns to the foreground, then settles back behind the warmth of the stove. It is never exactly the same, though it always feels known. Sometimes it is a fine whisper. Sometimes a broad, quiet wash passes over the tiles and down into the waiting gutters. At the back of the room, a low cupboard holds folded table linens. The doors close with two wooden catches, and a sprig of dried pear blossom rests in a little cup on top. Its petals have faded to cream, and its stem has curved as it dried. It carries almost no scent, only the gentle shape of spring kept through summer. The room has known many seasons without needing to display them. A thicker rug is rolled on the upper shelf for cold months. A broad reed screen leans behind the counter for bright afternoons. Tonight asks for neither. The linen cushions, the light blanket, and the mild stove are enough for warm rain. A few crumbs from the oat cake fall onto the small plate. The cake is plain and tender, with a little pear baked into its center. It breaks softly, and its warmth matches the tea. The sweetness is low and quiet, leaving the mouth clean after each sip. The plate returns to the table. Every small task ends where it began. The scoop is back on its saucer, the jars are closed, the kettle is safe on the stove, and the cloth is folded beside the window stones. The door is latched. The fire is settled behind iron. There is nothing waiting to be finished. A soft light appears through the trees, far across the orchard. It comes from another small house beyond the last row, where someone has drawn a curtain over a window. The light does not move. It simply rests between wet branches, a distant sign of another warm room kept safe beneath the same rain. The lamp beside you makes a quiet island on the table. Its paper shade shows the faint lines of the wooden ribs, each one curving upward toward the top. The light does not reach the far window across the orchard. It is meant for this cup, this bench, this simple room, and it gives exactly enough. The blanket has grown warmer across your knees. Its fibers are soft with a few tiny curls that catch against the robe, holding it gently in place. Beneath it, the feet rest on the woven mat. The floor no longer feels separate from the room. It carries the stove's warmth from the center to every quiet edge. There is a small alcove near the back wall, wide enough for a reading chair and a narrow stand. The chair is made of bent wood with a linen seat, and a smooth footstool waits beneath it. No book lies open. The stand holds only another shaded lamp, unlit, and a tiny bowl of dried pear leaves. The alcove needs no attention tonight. Its chair keeps its familiar shape in the amber shade, ready for some other evening. The main lamp is enough. The bench by the window is enough. The rain gives all the sound the room needs. The stove makes a soft inward click as a piece of wood settles behind the iron door. The orange line beneath it brightens for a moment and returns to its former glow. The basket beside the stove remains full. The fire will keep its warmth for a long while without another piece. Steam no longer rises in a full thread from the cup. It hovers near the surface, almost clear, carrying only a little scent when the cup comes close. The tea has reached an easy warmth. Each sip is slower than the one before, with longer spaces filled by rain and the quiet weight of cloth. Beyond the window, water travels down the trunk of the nearest tree. It follows the small channels in the bark and disappears where grass meets root. The orchard earth is dark and open, taking in every drop. No puddle reaches the path beneath the porch. The stones there slope gently away, just as they were laid to do. A pale pear hangs near the center of the window. Rain gives it a clean shine, and a leaf rests against one side like a small green hand. The branch holds steady. The fruit will remain there through the night, cool beneath the roof's soft shadow, growing only a little fuller in the wet air. The same pear appears whenever your eyes return to the glass. Around it, leaves move by the smallest amount, then become still. It is a simple point of rest among the gray rain lines. Lamp glow touches the inside of the window, and the pear outside seems to float between warm amber and garden green. A cupboard clock stands on a high shelf, though its face is turned slightly away from the bench. Its small wooden case has been polished smooth. The sound of its movement is too faint to separate from the rain, and there is no reason to look toward it. Evening can deepen in its own unmeasured way. The cup is half full. The teapot keeps the rest beneath its lid, wrapped in a small quilted cover the color of oatmeal. The cover has two simple ties and a rounded top. It keeps the tea warm without asking anything from the stove, while the kettle grows quiet beside the hidden fire. The rain becomes finer for a while. Individual drops can be heard along the edge of the porch, falling from tile to stone. In the orchard, the broad wash softens to a silver veil. The distant house light is clearer now, held between two trunks, and the path shows a little more of its dark curve. With the lighter rain comes the scent of wet grass. It reaches the room as a faint green coolness around the window frame, mingling with pear and warm clay. The contrast makes the robe feel softer and the cup warmer. Outside air and inside air meet only as scent, each remaining where it belongs. The table bears several pale rings from cups used over many quiet evenings. They have been rubbed smooth rather than hidden, and they follow the grain like small moons beneath the lamp. The newest woven mat rests over one of them. The marks make the table feel settled, useful, and completely at ease. One corner of the room holds a tall basket for orchard leaves that are gathered from the porch. It is empty now, turned upside down after being cleaned. Its woven sides cast soft bands of shadow on the wall. By morning, a few wet leaves may wait outside the door, though they can remain there until the sun is ready. Nothing in the room points toward morning. The tea house is made for the present warmth, for a roof receiving rain, for a lamp resting on wood. Morning will arrive without help. The path will lighten, the leaves will dry, and the orchard will show its colors again when the time comes. Another sip leaves the cup lighter in your hands. The wide clay rim is smooth and warm. Your fingers have found the slight hollow near its base, and the cup settles there naturally each time it is lifted. The shape feels familiar now, as if it had been waiting for these hands through all the mild hours of rain. The blanket shifts with a small dry rustle. It settles again, softer than the rain. The cushion gives beneath your shoulder, and the bench holds steady against the wall. Warmth gathers along the back and across the knees, while the robe sleeves rest loosely at the wrists. The lamp shines on the window glass. Close to the table, the room appears as a pale reflection laid over the orchard. The round cup, the paper shade, the edge of the blanket. Beyond that reflection, branches remain visible. Inside and outside share the glass without mixing, warm light resting over cool rain. The teapot pours a second small cup. The liquid is deeper in color now, with more pear sweetness and a gentle green finish. There is only enough for this cup, and the pot feels nearly light when it returns beneath its quilted cover. Its work is complete. The tea jars stand closed on the counter. Their round shoulders catch a narrow band of lamp glow. Each lid sits flat. The wooden scoop is clean. The little dish of ginger remains untouched, ready for another evening when the air is colder and the orchard branches carry frost instead of rain. Warm rain continues tonight. It slides from leaf to leaf, gathers at the roof edge, and enters the dark earth. The stove continues. The lamp continues. The pale pear stays near the center of the window, steady among wet green leaves. The second cup asks even less attention than the first. It can rest in both hands while your gaze grows soft along the window frame. Heat passes through the clay in a slow, even way. The scent is faint. The taste is gentle. Spaces between sips grow wide and quiet. A moth rests beneath the porch roof, sheltered on the outer wall. Its folded wings are the color of dry oats, barely different from the wood behind it. It does not touch the window or the lamp. It has found a dry place and remains there, as still as the leaves are calm. The orchard path is almost hidden again as the rain grows fuller. Its stones gleam where the branches open, then fade beneath the nearest leaves. The gate beyond them remains secure. The far house light turns softer in the gray, a small warm square that asks nothing and offers simple company. The fire behind the stove door has lowered to an even bed of warmth. No flame can be seen now, only the muted orange line beneath the iron. The kettle is still. The room holds the heat already given, storing it in clay, cloth, wood, and the wide cup between your hands. The last oat cake crumb is brushed into the empty dish. The plate is set beside the teapot, where it can wait until morning. There is no need to carry it farther. The table remains neat, and the small used things look peaceful together beneath the lamp. The paper shade gives the same honey-colored light. Rain gives the same gentle cover. The pear tree keeps the same patient place beyond the glass. With every return, these familiar things feel softer, their edges less important, their presence enough. A low drawer beneath the table opens with a quiet wooden sigh. Inside are squares of soft cloth used for wrapping ripe fruit, each one washed and folded after the last harvest. Their colors come from plants and earth: pale green, warm cream, faded gold, and the gentle brown of dry grass. They lie in even layers, light enough to lift with 2 fingers. One cream cloth is spread across the table. Its weave shows in the lamplight, fine in one direction and slightly heavier in the other. The nearest pear from the bowl is placed at its center. The fruit gives a mild, sweet scent where its skin has grown warm in the room. The cloth folds over the pear from one side, then the other. Its corners meet above the stem without pulling tight. A narrow band of soft green fabric circles the bundle and holds with a simple tuck. The pear is protected without being hidden completely, its little leaf resting outside the fold. The other pears receive the same easy care. One rests on faded gold cloth and one on pale green. Each bundle takes only a moment. The work is slow enough to feel the texture of linen, the rounded weight of fruit, and the dry little stems against the fingers. The wrapped pears return to the bowl, 3 quiet parcels beneath the lamp. They will keep well until the rain has passed. Their scent remains in the room, joined now by the clean smell of folded cloth. The drawer closes, and its wooden front becomes part of the table again. Near the bowl lies a small brush with a handle carved from pear wood. Its bristles are soft and used only for clearing fine dust from the table grain. A few strokes gather the oat crumbs from the lamp side of the table. The brush moves with a faint hush, softer than cloth and almost as soft as the rain. The crumbs fall into the empty dish. The brush returns to its shallow groove beneath the counter. The table needs no further care. Its pale rings, fine grain, and smooth edge are clear beneath the light, ready to hold the cup through the rest of the evening. Along the upper wall, a row of small wooden pegs holds several useful things. A reed fan rests on one, though the mild air needs no stirring. A flat basket hangs from another, clean after carrying pears from the orchard. A linen apron occupies the last peg, its ties folded into its pocket. These simple things cast quiet shapes across the plaster. The fan makes a soft half circle. The basket leaves a web of narrow shadows. The apron falls in 2 still folds. When rain passes more fully over the roof, the lamp flame trembles by the smallest amount, and the shadows seem to loosen before resting again. The plaster wall has the warm color of oat flour. Close to the stove, it holds a deeper shade where years of gentle heat have dried it. Near the window, it is pale and cool. The changing colors meet behind the bench with no clear line between them. A little clay tile is set into the wall beside the counter. It bears the pressed shape of a pear leaf, every fine vein kept in the fired surface. A fingertip can follow the raised center from stem to point. The clay is warm on the stove side and cooler at the edge nearest the window. The tile came from the same earth as the teapot and cup, gathered from a quiet bank beyond the orchard. Its color belongs naturally among the wood and linen. Nothing about it shines except a small glazed line along the leaf, where lamplight settles like rain. The river stones beneath the window catch the eye again. The roundest one is lifted from its tray and held in the palm. It has stored a little warmth from the room. Its surface is smooth except for one shallow hollow, shaped by water over a long and patient passage. The stone fits beneath the fingers with a calming weight. Cream lines cross its gray surface, fading at one side and returning near the other. Turning it slowly changes the lines without changing the stone. It remains cool at the center and warm along the outside where the hand holds it. After a while, the stone returns to its place among the others. The pale line faces upward. The cloth beside the tray smooths away a faint mark, then folds once and rests at the corner of the ledge. The stones are still. The window is dry. Rain moves from the high branches to the lower leaves. It gathers in the orchard grass and beads along the narrow railing of the porch. A steady stream slips through the rain chain at the roof corner. passing from one small metal cup to the next before entering a bed of dark river pebbles. The rain chain gives a low, watery murmur beside the broader sound on the tiles. It never rings. The little cups guide the water gently downward, each one filling and spilling in turn. Through the window, only part of the chain is visible, a thin moving line beyond the trunk of the nearest tree. At the base of the chain, the river pebbles shine black and brown. Water disappears between them and travels beneath the porch toward the orchard ditch. The ditch is lined with grass and curves away from the path. Everything outside has a place for the rain, and every place receives it easily. The room grows even more comfortable because the water is well guided. Roof, gutter, chain, stones, and grass each carry a little part. The path stays clear. The porch stays dry. The closed door keeps the soft night air beyond its wooden frame. The distant house light fades as its curtain draws more fully across the window. A narrow amber edge remains for a while, then becomes part of the gray between the trees. The orchard does not feel emptier. The tea house lamp keeps its own warm circle, complete and close. A light breeze reaches the upper branches. Leaves turn their pale undersides toward the rain, making soft green flashes among the darker shapes. The lower branches remain almost still. The pale pear near the window moves only the width of a raindrop and comes gently back. The robe sleeves have cooled at their loose edges and stayed warm where they cover the arms. Drawing the hands nearer gathers the cloth into comfortable folds. The blanket holds them for a moment, wool beneath linen, softness beneath softness. A narrow beam beneath the ceiling carries the marks of old hand tools. The marks are shallow and smooth, softened by years of warm air rising from the stove. Along one side, the wood has deepened to the color of toasted oats. Along the other, lamplight leaves a pale golden edge. A tiny bundle of dried orchard grass hangs from the beam by plain thread. The stems have lost their summer green and become soft shades of cream. They give no strong scent, only a clean trace of sun-warmed field beneath the pear, clay, and rain. The bundle hangs still while water travels over the roof above it. The last warmth from the teapot gathers beneath its quilted cover. When a hand rests near it, the cloth feels gently warm, no warmer than the blanket across the knees. Cup, pot, and kettle have each given what was needed. They can cool together through the quiet hours. The pale pear outside remains among the shining leaves, while the wrapped pears inside rest in their bowl. One belongs to the wet branch, and 3 belong to the warm table. All are still. All have their place beneath the rain and lamplight. The quiet orchard gathers them into one gentle evening of cool leaves, warm cloth, soft light, and steady water. The cup is nearly empty. A final warmth lies at the bottom, along with one tiny piece of pear peel that has passed through the strainer. It rests against the clay. The cup remains pleasant to hold, and there is no reason to set it down yet. Your shoulders sink more fully into the linen cushion. The robe falls open a little at the neck, letting the mild room air touch the skin. The blanket stays across the knees. Hands rest around the cup. Feet remain warm on the mat. The rain on the roof seems farther away, though it has not changed. It is part of the room now, part of the bench and the lamp and the quiet stove. It passes overhead in long, soft waves. Between them are smaller touches, All of it is gentle. The pale pear beyond the window blurs behind water on the glass. Its gold-green shape remains round and calm. A drop travels down the pane, crossing the reflected lamp, crossing the pear, and slipping out of sight at the wooden frame. The cup returns to its woven mat. Its weight leaves your hands, and the hands rest loosely in the folds of the blanket. Warmth remains in the palms. The fingers grow still. The lamp is lowered by a small turn. Honey-colored light becomes softer. The far corners fade. The table remains visible. The window remains a quiet gray square. The stove holds its warmth. The kettle rests. The teapot rests beneath its cover. Every jar is closed. Every cloth is folded. The door is secure. Outside, leaves receive the rain. The roof receives the rain. The orchard earth receives the rain. Inside, linen stays warm. Clay stays warm. Wood stays warm. The pale pear rests among the leaves. The lamp rests beside the window. Rain passes softly over the tiles. Warmth remains. The room is quiet. All is well.